and 5. 4 receivers right. Thompson to the left. Milan's going to throw. He's got time. Throws. It's intercepted. It is intercepted by the Tigers. Steven Brogan picks it off for LC, and that's going to wrap it up with 59 seconds to go. Liberty Center is going to head to the regional championship, it looks like, against Milan Edison. Fox is after him. That could be picked off by Colt Cruz at the 28. He's loose. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Tigers.
On the ball, he fumbled. He fumbled the ball. Antwerp's there. Antwerp's got it. Season essentially for both football teams.
Both football teams. Yep.
Jefferson 34, Antwerp 33. Antwerp going for 2 in the win. Ball's on the right hash. 2 receivers each side. Different formation from what they had. And see if they try to roll Ultimates. They've got a man out there to the left. Now they'll motion. And now Ultimates will keep it on a QB run. He's near the goal line. Is he is. Carson Ultimates on a gutsy call, Carl. A little bit of window dressing. Get it on the jet sweep to the short side. Up the sideline. Sam McCaffrey. He is gone. Touchdown, Ottawa Hill.
Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast, presented by the Gerken Companies. Joined again this week by Tory Strock. I am Lynn Groll. Do not have our colleague Neil Schuler with us. Business has taken Mr. Schuler out of the area again.
Sometimes I wonder what he's up to.
Do you?
If there's some funny business going on, because he goes some weird places for extended period of times. I just don't know if we really truly know Neil Schuler.
Well, we'll have to get him back here to find out. I don't know if we're going to. Our podcast slate may be running a little short. We have 4 teams left from the area. We'll see how much longer we can go.
He is covering a game Friday.
He is covering a game, so we know he's going to be back Friday.
Yeah.
We'll release his game of the week here in a little bit. I don't know. There's a lot of mystery to it as he covers the NLL and the CHSL schools up in the Toledo area for us, and there's just one of those playing.
Yeah, and Lynn, listening to the intro there, it's been a long season with podcasts and our KK Collision Coaches Show and then the game casts and Rise and Rewind. But I hear that intro and I hear your call of Steven Brogan's interception, and it's like an infusion of adrenaline, man.
Yeah.
It gets you fired up, and that was a great call, by the way, my friend. But that's one of those plays that 20 years from now, all you got to say is the Brogan interception, and everybody's going to know.
I'd say longer than 20 years.
Yeah, I agree.
He'll be telling his grandkids about that.
Yeah, he will. He will.
60 years down the road.
Yeah, that's the stuff legends are made of. And I was talking to a couple of Liberty people whom I respect a lot, Lynn, and they said, almost to a person, they said that couldn't have happened to a better kid.
Yeah, good kid. Really good kid.
That makes it even better. that character piece there makes it even better. And so hats off to Brogan. And boy, that's the stuff legends are made of, man.
Yeah, that was a dandy we had last Friday night at Maumee High School. And thank you to Cam Kutcher and his crew for what they did. Kind of a late notice for them. They were not planning on hosting a playoff game, and they put together an absolute show and took care of us and all the other media and all the fans and spectators that showed out for that one, and all the teams and all that.
They did.
It went off without a hitch.
It did, and I don't know that the average person understands what an undertaking hosting regional any playoff game, but a regional semifinal of that magnitude. You've got to be on your toes because both fan bases are coming expecting everything to be just right. And especially, a program like Liberty Center, they've played a lot of places, and they've got a lot to compare you to. But I've heard all positives.
Yeah, yep. Didn't open the parking lots till 4. I don't know what time the first person from Liberty Center got there, but we got there a little before 5:30 when the gates opened, and we started walking up to the stands about 5:30, and I thought we were going to get trampled because there were LC folks. They were on a mission to find a seat there at Kazmaier Stadium.
That's well stated, Lynn. And
I think Bob Shaddy, one of our sales guys, was one of the first. No surprise there.
Well, Ray Carpenter.
Yeah, Ray was right there.
And so some of these people we're referencing are people that like to talk. Like they'll stand there and they'll talk all night. Not when they don't have their seat yet.
Any other time when you would have seen Ray Carpenter or Bob Shaddy, you wouldn't have gotten out of there before an hour.
No, but they didn't claim their seat yet.
No.
And so everything else takes a back seat to those Tiger fans. And it's not like a home game where they can go out there the night before or at 10 a.m. and tape their blanket down, But, that was.
Are we sure that there wasn't an LC person that snuck in there before and got a blanket down? It's happened before.
I can't say that I'm sure because there's a good chance it happened. And two, with these host sites, it's all who you know.
Yeah.
If you know the right person, I may or may not have gone out to Buckenmeyer Stadium and put a blanket or two down based on who was playing there when we hosted. I'm just saying. Not saying I did, but I'm not saying I didn't.
Okay. Don't want to get you any convictions here.
No.
Before we move on, we put a bow on kind of the LC Oak Harbor game on Saturday morning, Rise and Rewind. But anything else now that you've had a couple more days to kind of stew on that Liberty Center victory? Very easily could have been an Oak Harbor win. There were probably a couple plays that they're kicking themselves that maybe they could have made that game is different. A game that could have went either way. You look at the yardage that Liberty Center had. They had more yardage, but if you're Oak Harbor on defense, you're saying, well, you never want to give up the big play for your defensive coach. Well, they didn't.
No.
The longest play they gave up was 16 yards on a rush. The other one was 15. They maybe had a couple of runs around 10 or 11. There was nothing real explosive from Liberty Center, and guess what? They still win.
Yep.
The Liberty Center way. 3 yards, 4 yards. Yep. Oak Harbor could never get them behind the chains.
No, and so you asked, we did put a bow on it, and I've thought about it and talked to some folks about it. And I guess what stands out to me is you saw Liberty Center can win a variety of ways, but you just saw a different way of winning, I think, Lynn. They were tested emotionally and mentally, too, because there was a stretch in that game when Oak Harbor hit that big play. It looked like they were going to go
down
in
to the 17-yard line, and they were up 14-10. You're thinking 21-10.
Yep.
I think it was, later stages of the third quarter that time.
Yep.
Really would have changed kind of the tenor of that game had they punched that one in.
Yeah, and a lot of times you hear fans talking, well, they haven't been in that situation yet. Let's see what happens when somebody gets them in the fourth quarter and their backs are against the wall. Well, we saw it, and so they just found a way to overcome it, and they really never wavered, even though their backs were against the wall a little bit there. I think they showed a little bit of calm, and some of that's the coaches too,
Yeah.
You're going to be a reflection of your leadership in those situations, and that Liberty Center group's a seasoned group.
And the Rockets only needed a field goal there at the end to tie it, and they were, close to the red zone.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they had an opportunity there too, and Liberty Center intercepted them. Cam Colley, I believe.
That was the one earlier in the third quarter. Yeah. I'm talking their last possession.
The end.
Well, they only needed a field goal then to tie it up.
Yeah, and so you look back at the interception earlier.
That one was big too. The Grady Miller, I think it was confusion on the play. He kind of bobbled the snap, did a little twirl in the backfield on that 4th down and 3.
Yeah,
I don't know that they got a great spot on that, but he got it by about 3/4 of the football. It was a first down anyway, but I don't think that the spot was great, but they picked it up. But that was a play by Grady that was incredible. Then the pass to Blake Garber earlier on in the game was big too, and I think that was a 3rd down as well.
It was big 3rd and long, and he had a guy in his face. And on that 4th down run you talk about, Lynn, where there was just something was off in the backfield, and what I saw from Grady on that play was an extreme sense of urgency, like my life depends on getting to the stick here, and he did.
Got that from his mama. We know that didn't come from his dad.
No, it didn't come from Jesse, that's for sure. Yeah, for sure. From his mom, yeah.
Yeah. 4 teams left. Toledo Central Catholic in Division 3, Liberty Center in Division 5, Patrick Henry D6, and then Columbus Grove in Division 7. I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, Coach.
Yep.
Whose path maybe is easiest to a state championship, or who do you think from our quartet left from our area that has the best chance to hoist the hardware here in 3 weeks in Canton?
I'm going to take the easy way out.
You know, Division 7 Columbus Grove is going to have to go through Marion Local.
Yes.
Division 6 Patrick Henry is going to have to go through likely Coldwater and Kirtland.
Yes.
Liberty Center, boy. Milan Edison this week. Whoever they get in the state semis, and then whoever they get in the state finals. Ironton and South Range are the favorites, probably in Division 5 to win it all. They'd have to go through. We don't know the pairings yet. The pairings for the state semifinals will be released Tuesday. We're recording this on Monday, so we'll find those out usually on Tuesday of the regional finals week. So they're going to have to go through Milan Edison, 13-0. Ironton, whose only loss is to a school from Canada. You've seen Ironton on film, and you've seen South Range on film. That's no easy task.
No.
And then Toledo Central Catholic in D3. I'll give you a little bit of a break here. I would take Toledo Central Catholic. I think their path is maybe a little easier knowing what they have upcoming, especially this week, playing a 7 seed in Padua Franciscan. I think that our other teams, boy, I think their paths are just tough. Not saying they can't.
Yeah.
It's razor thin for them.
It is, and so my answer, Lynn, same as yours. I was going to say Toledo Central Catholic, and a lot of that comes down to just how powerful they are with their track record and that. But I like Central Catholic and Columbus Grove. I think they have the best matchups in terms of their path to the state semis. Bluffton and Patrick Henry, and then Edison Liberty Center. Those are two where a turnover, a key penalty or something like that could be the difference. I think if Central Catholic had a couple turnovers and Grove had a couple turnovers, they could probably overcome that.
Yeah.
Patrick Henry and Liberty Center's margin, their window's a lot more narrow.
Yeah. Just for reference, Division 3, Martin RPI ranking Central Catholic number 2, actually. He has Bishop Watterson as the number 1 team in Division 3, and then Ursuline is ranked 5th. So you have the 1, 2, and 5 teams in Martin RPI still alive in D3. But to me, Central just what they've done the last 2 years, and
no, I agree.
Their clout that they have. If you look at Division 5, Ironton's 1, South Range 2, Milan Edison is 3, Liberty Center 4, according to Martin RPI. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 still alive in Division 5. Division 6, Kirtland number 1, Coldwater 2, Patrick Henry, Martin RPI has 11th, Bluffton 7th, Northmore 5. Some of the teams left there. And then Division 7, you have Marion Local and Minster. Marion Local 1, Minster 3, but they're going to get knocked out, one of them this week. So you can take out 1 or 3. And then Columbus Grove is 2. Theirs is just hard because they have to go through Marion Local at some point.
It kind of skews everything. And speaking of Martin RPI, Brayton Martin had posted something on X on Twitter earlier. And I believe the number was Marion Local has put a running clock on 17 of their last 19 opponents.
Saw that.
And the 2 times they didn't, Minster.
Okay, Minster. Okay. I was going to say Coldwater or somebody like that.
Yeah.
For sales, maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know Minster has their 2 receivers that they didn't have the first time they played Marion Local, which was 21-0. Is that enough? Marion Local quarterback dinged up a week ago. Don't know the severity of it. Is that enough? He's still got those talented receivers to throw through. They don't make him run it too much. No. So I don't know. And then that defense, have they given up? I think the starters have maybe given up 7 all season.
That'd be about right.
And we've discussed, I think, on our shows, how many can you expect to score? If you get 14, are you, as the opposing team, saying, yeah, we get 14, that's about as good as we can do? I don't know.
Yeah, I think if your offense scores 14, that's about as good as you can hope for. If you could somehow catch lightning in a bottle and get a scoop and score, maybe you block a punt, and all those things are relatively unlikely because of the discipline level of Marion Local. But I think you got to have something like that. And if anybody can do it, I think Minster's maybe the team that can, because it's like playing Liberty Center. We talk about Lynn and Columbus Grove a lot of times. You've got to be dialed in between the ears before anything else matters. And because, again, when the Marion Local bus or Liberty Center bus pulls in, a lot of times they're up 3 scores. But I don't know that that's the case with Minster. And I think they'll give it the old varsity try. And then is this one where Marion Local just lets their hair down and rolls them?
Yeah.
Because that could happen too.
Could be too. You like Marion Local in that matchup? I know it's not a game that we're going to pick, but.
Yeah, I just do. I just don't see a path for Minster. If we get a halftime score and it's 14-7, then I'll be really interested. One way or the other, but that one's crazy. The Bluffton Patrick Henry game, that's the one where I don't know what to think. I really don't. The other ones I have a pretty good feel for. Bluffton Patrick Henry, I don't know what to think.
I agree with you. Yeah. Well, we saw Bluffton against Grove. Yeah. Didn't exactly handle Paulding well the first week in the playoffs. The next week, got rolling a little bit against Ottawa Hills last week, though. I don't know.
I don't either.
A year ago, I feel like we had a pretty good handle on Bluffton. They gave Columbus Grove 2 good games. Yeah. Patrick Henry has lost to 2 really good teams. But then on the other hand, do you say, who have they beat?
I know. Could Bluffton have played Liberty Center as tight as PH did that night?
I would say no.
I would say no as well.
I don't know which. The Bluffton team a year ago, probably, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, neither of them are playing Liberty Center Friday. They're playing each other. So you look at matchups. And I just think Patrick Henry, you want to be playing your best ball late. I don't know that anyone, pound for pound's playing now. Liberty Center and Grove are playing at their peak. But Patrick Henry's playing as good as anybody in the state of Ohio.
Right.
Any division.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree with you. But if Bluffton brings their A-plus game, that one's going to be really close. The experts, we'll get to it later, they like Bluffton in that one.
They do. And Lincoln Krager for Patrick Henry, I mean, obviously he's a game changer, but Landon Worcester from Bluffton is an absolute tank for those who haven't seen him. He's a tank running the ball, and then at linebacker, he's a missile. He's really good, and they've got a really good secondary too. So, I think having Cal Schrader added to the mix in the run game,
I agree,
is big for PH.
Yeah, absolutely. And that defense, we'll get to their numbers here later on in the show. But boy, Patrick Henry's defense is playing lights out right now, and I'll give you their playoff numbers and how many yards they've given up on snaps. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know that they've played a juggernaut yet in the playoffs. I hope Oladen was the number 1 seed, but I don't. I question maybe the team that they had this season. I don't think it was one of their better teams.
Right.
I know they went through the regular season undefeated, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. Let's take a break, come back, and break down the regional finals from this week coming up.
Hard-working individuals have been the heart of the Gerken companies for generations. Together we construct the highways and infrastructure that strengthen our communities. Gerken is seeking rock-solid performers. We offer generous benefits, continuous training, top-notch equipment, and a culture that rewards effort. Want to be part of something big, steady, and stable with room to grow? Whether you're experienced or just starting your career, we encourage you to apply at gerkencompanies.com/careers.
Thank you to the Gerken Companies for their support this season as the title sponsor of our football podcast. Also going to be the title sponsor of our basketball podcast and Gamecast. Coming up, it's approaching quickly here is hoop season. Girls get going this week, right?
It's about right. They've had a bunch of scrimmages, I know.
Boys are next week.
Thanksgiving
week, right?
Yep. And Dave Krause has already been in touch about his availability and different games he'd like to do before Christmas. So, boy, won't be long.
No, it will not. Looking forward to hoop season. We got hopefully 3 more weeks of football season for our area
I hope so.
teams. Let's go over our Predictions and records a week ago. Braden Martin made a move, 11-2 a week ago. You and I were 10-2, and Neil Schuler 10-3 after 3 weeks of the playoffs. Braden now is 58-8. Playoff time. Braden has came alive. You are 52-11. I'm 52-11. Neil is 53-12. Overall for the regular season and playoffs, you're still a game up on Braden, but he's making a move. You're 340-63, 844 winning percentage. Braden 349-69 and 835 winning percentage. 1 game back. I am 338-65, 839 win percentage. I'm 2 games back. I know the games and the percentages there are a little goofed up because I've picked a lot more games than Braden has. And then Neil Schuler still right there at that 7.5 games back mark. 334-72 and 823 winning percentage. That's pretty good, Schuler, but not against the best of the best.
No. There's another time, another place, he may be leading the pack, but this isn't that other time and that other place.
This isn't the minor leagues, Schuler.
No, and he dug himself a hole early.
Yeah. And
so I'll be curious going forward, has he learned from that?
We'll find out next year. I don't think there are enough games for him to pick this year to rally.
No. It is what it is now.
Seeds remaining, so there are 56 teams statewide remaining, 8 teams in the 7 divisions, 8 teams in each division, the 7 divisions, so 56. 21 number 1 seeds still alive, 15 twos, so 36 of the 56, would that be about 60%? A little over that, are 1 and 2 seeds? Yeah, do the math there for me real quick. Yeah. There are 5 3 seeds, 2 4 seeds, 3 5s, 2 6s, 3 7s, 1 8, 1 9, 110, Kettering, Archbishop Alder. There are 3 teams that are double-digit seeds still alive. Wheelersburg, they're a 14. They play Ironton this week. Good luck with that. And the 15 seed is Delphos St. John's, who is the only 15 seed, the longest that a 15 seed has ever made it.
Yeah, so the 1s and 2s, Lynn, 64%.
Okay.
64%. 36 of 56.
Wow. Yeah. And then you had the 3 seeds. You had another 5 in there. It's a good chunk of them.
Yeah, it is.
Do any of the double-digit seeds win this week, Coach?
Who's Kettering Alter play?
Kettering Alter plays. Let me find it here.
Because it isn't going to be St. John's and it isn't going to be Wheelersburg.
Where are they? Division 4, right? Yep, there they are. They play Taft this week.
Okay. Taft is super athletic, but the best chance for a double-digit seed, Kettering Alter.
Yeah. Taft is 18th in Martin RPI ranking in Division 4, and then Alter is 27th. Okay. So not a whole lot of separation there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have trouble betting against Archbishop Alter.
Yeah, I think they'll pick up the win there, a little out of our coverage area, but we like to talk about statewide as well. Yep. Matchups by seed. There are 10 regional finals between 1 and 2 seeds this week. 1 versus 3, there are 4. 1 versus 6, there are 2. 1 versus 7, 3. There's a 1 versus 14, Ironton and Wheelersburg. There is 1-1-15, Columbus Grove, Delphos, St. John's. There is 1 2 versus 4 seed matchup. There are 2 2 versus 5 matchups. And then we have 1 2 versus 8, 1 2 versus 9, 1 4 versus 3, and 1 5 versus 10 coming up in regional championship games this week.
So there are some outliers. We know there's some double-digit seeds in that. Mm-hmm. But by and large, it all comes out in the wash, doesn't it?
It does.
By and large.
Yes.
And I started to add up as you were getting our technology ready to go tonight. I tried to start adding up the number of 1s versus 2s and that, and I thought to myself, Lynn will have these. So I stopped.
It took a few minutes today to do that.
So 10 1 versus 2s. 10
Correct, 10 of them. 1 versus 3s, there are 4.
Okay.
And you can't have a 1 versus 1.
Correct.
And then, seeding after this week, it's hard to kind of.
Yeah.
Because the regions aren't.
Yeah.
It's not region, the same region playing each other, but we'll see where we're at next week and see what seeds are left in the state semifinals as we get down to the final 4. I'm going to give you the spreads for Divisions 1, 2, and 4, Coach, from Cal Preps and also Ohio Fantastic 50, since we don't have any teams left there. Mentor playing Lakewood St. Ed's. That is at Bedford this week. Ohio Fantastic 50 has Lakewood St. Ed's -3. Cal Preps has Lakewood St. Ed's -1. So median spread -2 for the Eagles in that one. Thank you to Martin RPI and Brayton Martin for putting this together. If you don't follow him on Twitter, you should. He has some great insight along with Fantastic 50, boy. Those guys really pick through the data and find the good stuff. Also in Division 1, Wayne is playing Centerville. That is at the University of Dayton. Wayne is ranked 38th, according to Martin RPI, in Division 1. Centerville is ranked 24th. Centerville, 10-point favorite for Ohio Fantastic 50, 7-point favorite at Cal Prep. So median spread, 8.5-point favorite is Centerville. Olentangy Liberty ranked 3 in Division 1, according to Martin RPI. All these rankings I give you according to Martin RPI. They're playing Pickerington North. That'll be at Columbus Crew Stadium. Olentangy Liberty -9 in Ohio Fantastic 50, -14 in Cal Preps for a median of 11.5. And then the big one down in the Cincinnati area, number 1 Moeller playing number 16 St. Xavier. That is at Mason. Moeller, a 15-point edge according to Ohio Fantastic 50 and 7-point favorite on Cal Preps. So Moeller is an 11-point favorite as the median. Did those two teams play earlier this year?
What I'm going to check. Okay. I was going to ask you what region that is.
That is, I don't have the region here. That should be Region 4.
Okay. All right. There's Olentangy Liberty Pick Central. That's what I was just getting on to check. Yes. There's Moeller. You said St. X. They did play. Wow. Whew. So Moeller won the initial meeting, week 5, 45-37.
Ooh. The spread seems a little high, 15.
I think so, too.
Cal Preps has it at 7. Interesting.
I think so, too. And St. Xavier has wins over St. Ignatius, over the aforementioned Centerville, who you just mentioned. They beat Centerville 34-10. So those are the two that really stick out. They beat Elder, who's a perennial power, 22-17. They beat LaSalle, who I believe still alive, 9-0.
Yeah, LaSalle's alive in Division 2. They play Anderson this week.
All right. So and then they beat last week an 11-2 Lakota West team. So that's a heck of a matchup.
Who do we get in the state semifinals in your mind with these regions, Coach?
As far as Division 1?
Yep.
Boy. I don't know. What are my choices?
A lot of scenarios.
Yeah.
Mentor, Lakewood, St. Ed's,
Okay.
Wayne and Centerville, Olentangy, Liberty, Pick North, and then Moeller, St. Xavier.
I'm going to take the easy way. I'm going to say Moeller is one of them. And, gosh, Division 1's so hard. Division 1 is so hard.
I'm going to take Moeller, Mentor, Centerville, and Liberty.
Okay, I'm definitely going to take Centerville. I'm going to go with Pick North.
Okay.
Even though that one I think is razor thin. And then Moeller and who'd you say St. Ed's Mentor?
I'm going to take Mentor in
Are
that
you?
one. Yep.
Gosh. You know, it's almost crazy saying I'm considering taking an 8-5 over a 13-0, but if you know, you know. I'm gonna take St. Ed's. In that one.
Who do you think the matchups are in the state semis next week? How will those be paired up by the OHSAA? I know I'm putting you on the spot, but you know your geography.
Yeah, I do.
I like to pick your brain to see how well you know. Probably the Columbus teams against the Cincinnati's.
Cincy,
Yeah.
So it'd be Moeller and Liberty or Pick North. Yeah, and then Centerville Mentor or Huber Heights Lakewood.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Division 2 this week, Walsh Jesuit is playing Hoban. That is at Twinsburg. Ohio Fantastic 50 -4 Hoban, and Cal Preps likes Hoban by 7, so a 5.5 point spread there for Hoban. Also in Division 2, Avon and Medina Highland are matching up. That is at Elyria. Avon, the number 2 team, according to Martin RPI in Division II. Avon, a 3-point spread in Ohio Fantastic 50, and Medina Highland is a 1-point favorite, according to Cal Preps. That one's razor thin. Avon -1 for the median spread. And then Big Walnut playing Massillon, who Brayton has as the top team in Division II. That is at Mansfield Senior. Massillon 29-point favorite, Ohio Fantastic 50, and a 24-point favorite by Cal Preps for a 26.5-point spread there. And then Anderson playing LaSalle at Princeton. Anderson, an 11-point favorite for Ohio Fantastic 50, and a 7-point favorite by Cal Preps. 9-point favorite in the median spread there.
Yeah, Avon, Medina Highland. To see what Medina Highland did against Anthony Wayne, I know Avon's a perennial. I mean, they're for real, but I lean Medina Highland in that one with just their sheer nastiness.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think they'll maybe be a little too much physically, even though Avon's seen it all.
Okay.
Yeah, you do that to Anthony Wayne like that, and I know they've done it before, but yeah, I like Medina Highland by a little bit.
Also in a division that we don't have any area teams playing, Division 4, Glenville playing Perry, who the Liberty Center folks know well, won the Division 5 state championship, went up a Division 2, Division 4 this season. Glenville and Perry will meet at Nordonia. Glenville a 1-point favorite, according to Ohio Fantastic 50. Cal Preps likes the Tarblooders by a dozen. 6.5 median spread in that one. Perkins playing Ontario. This one's at Tiffin Columbian. If you're not going to a game from our coverage area, this might be a dandy at Tiffin Columbian on Friday night. Perkins, 16-point favorite by Ohio Fantastic 50, but only a 5-point favorite by Cal Preps. Ontario stormed back a week ago to beat Braden DeVito in that outstanding Shelby Whippets program. Perkins, a 10.5-point median spread in that one. St. Clairsville and Indian Valley, they're meeting in Zanesville, Indian Valley, a 10-point favorite by Ohio Fantastic 50, and Cal Preps likes Indian Valley by 13, 11.5-point spread in that one. And then Taft and Archbishop, all they're playing at Monroe, all they're a 1-point favorite by Ohio Fantastic 50, and a 13-point favorite by Cal Preps. So the two computer models that they use, there's some big, wide margins in some of these games.
I just, you know, what I'm trying to figure out what we learned from that Napoleon Perkins game last week. Something tells me Napoleon exposed them a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, without seeing the full game and that. So that spread seems a little big against Ontario to me.
Yeah. If you look to the stats in that Napoleon Perkins game, you wouldn't have expected it to be that close.
No. I agree.
Because Perkins had over 200 yards rushing.
Yep.
Braylon Collier, who's going to Michigan State, their outstanding receiver, had 4 touchdown receptions and over 100 yards. You're thinking, well, you know, you get that much production from your running game and your star receiver, you figure they're going to roll. But Napoleon hung in there even though they had 100 less yards.
Yeah, they did, and I think Napoleon's ability to run the ball and keep the ball away. Right. You know, they had Napoleon's one drive was over 9-10 minutes.
That may have been a big reason why. Or otherwise, is it a 21-point victory for Perkins? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I mean
that had a lot to. You know, you keep the ball for almost a quarter of the game. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, it is. So Ontario Perkins, I would agree with you. I think that's a hot ticket if you're not going to one of our local games. Cleveland Glenville, that's interesting to me. They have a talent advantage normally most weeks, but Perry, you know how well coached they are.
Walter Moses, their quarterback's back this season. Lost Braden Richards and Jaden Studio. Couple other guys. They only had, I think, 6 or 8 seniors on that team a year ago to Perry, but they were all key contributors.
Yeah, boy, I'd hate to have to bet my life on that one. I could see a path where either team could win.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Easy to default to Glenville, but Perry's pretty good.
Yeah. Let's take another break. Come back and dive into our area matchups coming up this week. American Freedom Energy and Grandma's General Store off Route 24 on State Route 109, just south of Liberty Center, now has 88 unleaded fuel and is your one-stop shop for fuel, food, drinks, and much, much more, including locally raised meats and home-baked goods. American Freedom Energy and Grandma's General Store is proud to support Black Swamp Football and is the host of the Black Swamp Football podcast, football show, and Saturday mornings Rise and Rewind. Stop in and see Glenn and Greg today and make American Freedom Energy and Grandma's General Store a part of your everyday routine. Thank you to Glenn and Greg Badenhop here at American Freedom Energy and Grandma's General Store for their support and hosting us each week. And they're going to have to deal with this a little bit longer because we're going to go into basketball season. So we'll go to March that they're going to have to deal with this throughout the week here. Northwest Ohio football coaches are going to be here on Wednesday night for their, what would you call it, district meeting?
I'd call it the
Regional meeting?
1. Yeah.
Region 1 meeting? Yeah.
Region 1. They'll nominate players for the North-South All-Star game. They'll nominate Player of the Year. They'll nominate Coach of the Year. They'll do an Ethics, Integrity, and Sportsmanship Award. And then if you are the Region 1 nominee, now all of those nominees go down to the state clinic, which is arguably the best clinic in the United States, one of them, down in Columbus. And then as you check in as a coach for the clinic, you will cast your vote for the Player of the Year, Coach of the Year. And a lot of times, you know, you vote for the player that was nominated or the coach that was nominated in your region. So a lot of times if you're a parent or a fan that says, man, our local guys never win that stuff. Well, when you go down to the state clinic and you have nominees from Columbus and Cincinnati and Cleveland and things like that, they just have sheer numbers because you get the number of votes based on how many coaches you have that belong to the association. So just by sheer numbers, it's a little bit harder here in Northwest Ohio.
Okay. Thank you for giving some insight there.
Yeah, because I've had, people ask, and, we have some outstanding players. Like, for example, Trenton Barraza. I mean, wow, what a legitimate candidate, right, for some of those awards. But he may be, his name may be in a pool with some metropolitan city, and he's just outnumbered. So, yeah, don't get too caught up in that, to be honest with you, but it's a cool thing.
And I've had a lot of parents usually ask me this. How do you get nominated for the North-South game, and how do you play in that game? Because there's been a lot of people, well, how come we didn't have any kids in that, or why didn't we have more kids?
Well, I'll tell you what, there's been years I've been ticked off because, and I've coached in that game, Lynn. I have coached in that game, so I can shed a little bit of light on it. So each region is responsible for nominating players, okay? But here's the thing, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but here's the thing. Your coaches have to attend the meeting. And in order to have a vote, in order to be able to nominate, your coach has to be a member of the association. So there are some players over the years who didn't get their name on the board because maybe their coach wasn't a member of the association. And that's just the fact, okay? And so now there are coaches that are members that aren't able to attend that night, and they will call someone like Todd Peterson and say, hey, I'm not going to be able to be there, but could you put my running back on the board?
Are there ways if you don't attend to get your players?
Yes, there are.
Okay.
Yes, there are.
Just want to clear that up because I know it's been a touchy subject over the years, and a lot of the schools and coaches don't participate. It drives me nuts. I'm not going to name any names. There's some areas that, and maybe their kids don't want to play. I don't know.
Yep, and I do know there's been coaches over the years, and I can tell you this as a fact. There have been coaches over the years who've been so mad that a certain player or players didn't get chosen for the game over the years. They say, well, I'm done with it then. Well, then you affect your kids going forward, And so the Region 1 group that'll be here Wednesday night, Lynn, they will take all of those nominations, and then they will put them in the pool with the nominees from all over the state of Ohio. Then the head coach and his staff will meet. The year I coached in it, we met at Mansfield Senior High School. And then you go through, and it's like a draft. Hey, we get 3 running backs. We need 7 linemen. Who do we want? And so that's kind of how it is. And it's hard to get selected for that game no matter how good you are. It's really hard. Now, if one of your coaches is coaching in that game, you automatically get a player if you're coaching in it. But So, yeah, it starts with the coaches being members of the association is where it starts.
Thank you for clearing that up, because
You're welcome.
is a question here in a few weeks when they announce. I don't know when. I guess they announce the North-South. It's later, I guess. I shouldn't say here in the next few weeks. It's later. But, well, how come so-and-so doesn't have more kids on there? They won a state championship, or they won the conference, and they dominated. Well, there's your answer.
Yeah, and there's people at the Ohio High School Football Coach Association that want those kids to be part of it.
Yes.
But the deal is, and the coaches know it, you've got to be a member. And here's the thing, it's not hard to be a member, Lynn, because all you got to do is register for the clinic, and that includes your dues. You and all the assistants you register, that includes your dues for the year. And if you don't go to the clinic and you don't pay your dues, you can actually show up here Wednesday night and pay Todd Peterson, who I believe is still the Region 1 representative.
Yes, yep.
You can pay him your membership that night so you can get a vote and get a nomination. So there's plenty of ways to do it.
If you want to do it, you can do it.
You can do it. And the Ohio High School Football Coach Association gives you every opportunity, I will tell you that.
Yeah, thank you for clearing that up from a person that has been involved with the North-South game and also with the Region 1 board.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yep.
We're going to start in Region 10, Division 3 this week. Toledo Central Catholic looking for their third straight state championship. Won Division 3 a year ago, won Division 2 2 years ago. They're playing 7-seeded Parma, Padua, Franciscan at Sandusky High School's Foundation Stadium. The Irish 12-1. Parma, Padua is 8-5. Padua beat Central in 1976, 16-14, the only meeting that these two teams have ever had. Central has outscored their opponents in the playoffs 132-21, have not been tested yet. 13th regional final appearance for the Irish, where they are 9-3 all time. All regional final appearances have come since 2005. So 13 since 2005 for Greg Dempsey's Irish. Padua Franciscan been to the regional finals in 1994, and 2 years ago in 2022 they lost both, so have never won a regional championship. Has Padua Franciscan. They are a 28-point underdog, according to Ohio Fantastic 50, and Cal Preps agrees. They also say a 28-point edge for the Irish in this one.
Yeah, the Toledo Blade on Sunday, Lynn, they have a Sunday chat segment, and it was a Sunday chat with Greg Dempsey this past Sunday, and it was pretty cool being Coach Dempsey. Every single thing he said when they asked him about his success, all was deflected to the players and the coaches in his program. Super, super, super humble.
Yeah, I sat down with him a couple years ago for an article in our preseason magazine for, 3 hours. And he just went through every year of his coaching career. And he could name the scores, results of every game week by week, going back to when he began his coaching career at Central. It's amazing.
Well, what was crazy in that article, and I had to reread it like 3 times, he didn't earn a letter until his senior year.
Yeah, he self-admits he was not very good.
As like a defensive tackle, yeah.
He was I think he was going to quit football, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thunk it, you know? And so, and he talked about a paper he wrote for an English teacher that, he said they had to say what they wanted to be, and he said he wanted to be a teacher and a coach, and then he started his coaching journey, and anyway, I just thought that was pretty cool.
It was,
the humility. Now, Parma, Padua, Lynn, they've played some dudes. They've played some teams. They played, we talked about Perkins earlier, who beat Napoleon. They played Perkins week 2. They lost that 35-0. Okay, they played Sandusky. They lost to Sandusky 28-0. They played Menor Lake Catholic, who's a heavyweight. They lost that one 46-17. And so they've played some teams. They played Walsh Jesuit, who's 13-0, lost that one 42-0. So they've played some teams, but they've gotten smoked.
Yeah, they haven't beaten anybody.
And so add Central Catholic to that list of teams I just named. Might be the best one of the teams I just named. Boy, not a good matchup for Parma, Padua. But they've turned it on in the playoffs. Give them credit. Got to the regional final, but this is where it ends. I like Central Catholic.
I like Central, too, to continue their run and see who they play next week in Division 3. The other teams remaining there, Ursuline is playing Gilmore Academy. That is at Ravenna. Ursuline, a 27-point favorite, according to Ohio Fantastic 50, and 21-point favorite, according to Cal Preps. Gave you the Central Catholic Padua Franciscan score spread. Bishop Watterson, this may be the best game in Division III this week as far as rankings. Bishop Watterson, according to Martin RPI, number 1. Steubenville, number 4. This game is at New Philadelphia. But Bishop Watterson, a pretty heavy favorite by both computer models. 17, according to Ohio Fantastic 50, and 14 by Cal Prep. So 15.5 overall in that one. And then the other matchup in Division III is London against Bellbrook. That one is at Springfield. Ohio Fantastic 50 likes London by 14. Cal Preps just by 1. Median spread of 7.5 in that one. London is ranked 10th by Martin RPI. Bellbrook ranked 7th by Martin RPI.
And those were the two teams involved in knocking St. Mary's and Wapak out, right, last week.
Yep.
Boy, that's interesting. The Watterson-Steubenville game, surprised the spread's that big. We've heard all along how good Watterson is, and I believe that to be true, but, boy, Steubenville, you just don't shove Steubenville around.
No.
And then Youngstown Ursuline, you want to talk about physical programs there in Youngstown. Wow.
Yeah.
I think London's pretty good, Lynn.
Yeah, they did a pretty good
London's
job
pretty
against
good.
St. Mary's a week ago. Shut that wing tee of Bo Fry's down. Not many teams can do that.
No.
They barely averaged a yard per carry in that game to the Rough Riders.
Yeah.
They got to be pretty rugged, does London, to do that.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Going to be curious to see what the state semifinal matchups look like there. Boy, you imagine a Central Catholic Watterson?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what it'll be, but boy, that'd be a hot ticket.
Yeah, how do you think Division III state semifinals get paired up? Yeah. Now they do these before the regional championship, so you have to take in account both teams.
What could happen. Yeah.
I don't know if they do predictions or not. I assume they don't.
Yeah. Who's Ursuline play, Lynn?
Ursuline plays Gilmore Academy, and they're a heavy, heavy favorite.
I could see maybe a Central Catholic Ursuline semifinal, and then those teams down south, maybe Lock and Horns, Watterson, and London, Bellbrook, Steubenville, any of those teams.
Yeah. This will be Neil Schuler's game of the week. He'll be there at Sandusky on Friday night. Follow him on X. It's just Neil Schuler on his Twitter account, Neil, and Schuler is SCHULLER. Get on Twitter if you don't follow him already, and he'll have all the big plays and some pregame analysis, postgame analysis, and interviews, and all the good stuff that Neil Schuler does. He's pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah, I've seen him in action.
What does he call it? The heel the toe express?
Yeah.
Is that what he called it a few weeks ago?
Yeah, he did.
He doesn't mess around when he's on the sidelines.
No, and he's got that backdrop, that he uses for his post game, and then he's got microphones that he clips on the players and coaches, and he's pretty much unstoppable.
Yeah, yes, he is. He'll have the full recap and everything that goes into a Friday night from Sandusky on Friday night as Central Catholic looks to get back to the state semifinals. Going to take another break, come back and talk about Region 18 and an absolute rock fight we have coming up at Millbury Lake High School on Friday night. K. Kern Painting is a proud sponsor of Northwest Ohio Athletics. K. Kern Painting was formed in 1998 by Kinsey Kern in Toledo and now has a footprint in Toledo, Cleveland, and Michigan, and has road crews traveling throughout the United States. For a free estimate or job opportunities with K. Kern Painting, visit their website at kkernpainting.com or call 419-351-1250 or stop by their Toledo location at 211 North Reynolds Road. The Swanton Welding Company proudly supports our local student athletes and coaches. We're committed to being your local steel fabrication company in Northwest Ohio and building projects across the country. For job opportunities at the Swanton Welding Company, visit www.swantonweld.com or visit them at 407 Zider Way in Swanton. Thank you to Kinsey Kern at K. Kern Painting and also Norm Zider at the Swanton Welding Company for their continued support. Don't make them any better as far as generosity go from those two guys. Appreciate them both for supporting us through the years.
Yeah, Kearns and Ziders. That's all it needs to be said in terms of selflessness and generosity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here in Liberty Center, boy. They have done a lot behind the scenes that you do not ever know about.
And don't want you to know about.
No, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. We owe Norm a dinner, I know.
Yeah.
That we're going to have to...
So I guess it's only fair to shed light on that. We can't just gloat when we win.
No, that's definitely true.
But we did have a friendly wager with Normie Zider and our good friend Rob Nepper from Ottawa Hills. And I think it stemmed from the Ottawa Hills Eden game.
Yeah.
And
you can probably go back, or if you listen to this routinely, you probably know how that went.
There's some loyal listeners that know exactly how that went. And the original wager, I want to stray from that a little bit. The original wager was tacos from someplace Norm named, in like Perry's Burger, Mommy, whatever. But I said, if we're paying and we're the losers, I want beef. I want prime rib, even though I know tacos are made with beef. But I want prime rib. I want steak, something like that. Because if we're paying, I don't want tacos. I can go to Taco Bell and get tacos. I want prime rib or something like that.
Oh, okay.
If we're paying.
Well, we have to. We lost the bet.
We did lose the bet, but if you know Normie Zider, it may just be a trap to get us there. He's been known to pick up the tab.
Yes, he has. He usually does.
He usually does.
Yeah, he's a kind individual.
Took us to Mancy's Blue Water Grill that night. Remember that?
Oh.
He didn't spare any expense.
No. He just, whatever you want, get it.
Yeah.
And I think he was even ordering us stuff that we didn't even think about getting.
He was. Yes, he was. That was fun.
Maybe just kind of priming us for this Ottawa Hills Eden wager that we lost. Trying to better than tacos. You know, he threw out tacos, but he probably wants something a little better than tacos, right?
I think he was being nice about that.
Yeah.
I think he was looking out for us.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure we'll see Kinsey and Normie at
yes, we will.
Millbury Lake on Friday night for
Yes.
the Region 18 championship. Milan Edison 13-0, Liberty Center 13-0. This one we have been waiting for since early on when we knew both of these teams were in Region 18. And probably when we really got revved up for this one was when Milan Edison beat Sandusky Perkins back in week 7.
Yeah.
And we had this one kind of penciled before that. But then when they beat the Pirates, we're like, oh, this one could be really good. First meeting ever in the playoff era for the Chargers and Tigers. 15th regional final for LC. They're 9-4 in regional finals coming into this one. I'm sorry, 9-5 in regional finals coming in this one. They won regional finals 4 straight years from 97 to 2000. State championship appearances in 97, 98, and then, kept it rolling there in the kind of the heyday of the program. We may be in the heyday again as they're not too shabby again.
And they've got it. It's coming up through the pipeline, too.
Yeah.
This isn't a one-hit wonder here.
No, it's not. Did you see that video that Channel 11 did with,
Yeah.
well, it'll be Carl Carter's grandson?
Yep, I saw it.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Didn't surprise me in the least.
No, that sums up, if you haven't seen it, go to WTOL. I think I retweeted it, but pretty much sums up what football means in Liberty Center. Those kids were in tears.
Well, they were, and we got to the stadium, Lynn, and we were setting up in the press box, and what were there, 20 kids in jerseys?
Yeah.
15 to 20 kids.
Ball boys,
and they had a game going on, and I wouldn't doubt that they were pretending to be one of their favorite players on the team. You know,
I heard some mentions of Tory Strock.
Well, I mean, if their dads and granddads educated them, I would like to think I was involved. But
wearing down in the number 11 jersey,
10
or 10, sorry, 10.
Yeah, and it's no accident. Those kids, I mean, he was crying when they scored. I mean, that's how passionate they are. It just recycles itself.
Could we do a 7-on-7 version of ball boys before games? Division I college basketball do the manager games, and boy, it gets pretty pretty hotly contested with the manager games in Division I basketball. I don't know if Division II and III and NAIA do it. I'm not sure. They don't probably have the managers that Division I's do. But, boy, there's some – I mean, it's almost like a league in a way.
Well, it is. Here's the thing about some of those managers. They could be playing on some of those teams.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you watch some of the highlights or the video of those games.
Did you see the manager? I think they were at Cameron Indoor. They were playing Duke. I don't remember who it was. And he was putting on a show, dunking the ball, this manager, before the game. It's crazy, but, yeah, if we could, a Liberty Center ball boys.
Would Liberty Center ball boys be the state champions of Ohio?
Or is
there somebody else out there that could?
I got to believe like Milan.
Just their depth?
Well, they do have the depth. I don't know that anyone has the depth.
I mean, how many kids? Is it 5-on-5? What are we going to say? 5-on-5? One quarterback, 5 receivers, or 4 receivers?
Yeah.
I don't know. We got to be a number on it.
Got to make them.
I mean, they're going to be rotating guys in and out of there.
Yeah, Liberty.
Or do we have a lineman, or I don't know.
Well, Liberty has the depth. I think they should have to wear mouth guards, because I think if like Milan Edison's ball boys, I don't know how many they have or who they are, but I just got to believe they're pretty tough. So yeah, but Liberty has the depth. Maybe set that up one of these days. I'm surprised they don't do it on their own. Is there some smack talk going on between the ball boys? Because I
don't know that I see a lot of teams with more than 1 or 2 ball boys on other teams, though.
I just think Liberty's sheer numbers causes the other ones to maybe go in a shell. But we'll see what Edison has.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's going to be our 3-chord game cast coming up on Friday night. Got to make it official here in the next couple of days, but we feel good about getting into the couple seats at the Lake press boxes. They have 2 of them, one on the visitors' side as well, but looking forward to that.
Yes.
How about Liberty Center this season, outgaining their foes by well over 2,000 yards? They have 4,073 yards rushing this season on 456 attempts. As a team, they're averaging 8.9 per carry. Per carry. 47 of 86 passing. I say that because Edison throws it, and I've had this question from Liberty folks. Well, how much does Edison throw it? They throw it not quite twice as much, so a little bit more than Liberty Center. Opponents this season averaging 2.8 yards per carry against the Tigers, 316 rushes for 898 yards. Waylon Rentz leading the way for that Liberty Center attack. 1,506 yards, 24 TDs on 135 totes. Thomas Muller, 98 carries, 817 yards, 6 TDs. And then Garrison Cruz, 68 rushes, 718 yards, 13 TDs. So they're 3 guys approaching Waylon Rentz over 1,000. They got 2 more that are getting close, depending on how far their playoff run here goes. We'll see where they get. Waylon Rentz leading that defense, 85 tackles. Xander Zyder, 67 tackles. Cam Colley, 7 picks. Had a big one last Friday night. Boy, he just seems like he turns games around either in the return game or as a defensive back. And then you have Ian Rosebrook at kicker and Max Walker punting. They can turn a game as well. Edison went to the regional finals in 2015 and 16, back-to-back years. They have 3,796 yards and 49 touchdowns rushing this season. They've thrown 120 passes.
Okay.
So what would that be? 34 more passes. The most they threw in a game was 14, I believe, when I looked earlier today.
How many have they completed of 120?
73 of 120 for 1,213 yards. Okay. They've allowed 948 yards rushing on 336 attempts. Only Gibsonburg, who, have a ruthless running attack, and then Perkins have had over 100 yards rushing against the Chargers defense this season. Gibsonburg ran for 180 yards, but they needed 41 attempts to get it. So they needed a lot of attempts to get to 180. Perkins, 158 yards rushing against Edison on 24 rushes. Edison's defense, they have allowed 1,078 yards passing on 110 of 220 passing. They had held Braylon Collier, the outstanding Perkins receiver that's going to Michigan State, 2 catches for 12 yards in week 7. You saw what he did against Napoleon?
Yeah. Wow.
So their secondary has to be pretty good. Not that Liberty Center is going to be chucking around. And we haven't talked about the weather on Friday because it's supposed to be a little bit windy and colder. Not terribly cold, but the wind is supposed to kick up maybe in the 20s. Don't know how much of an effect that will have, but maybe a little bit on the passing game. It's not like it's 30 or 40 mile an hour
Right.
where it really has an effect with the remnants of the hurricane midway through the season. That had an effect.
Yeah,
I don't know that it's going to be that bad. I think you're just going to be able to throw it. Neither one of these teams want to throw it unless they have to. Cy Finnan, monster back. They got two really big backs, 215 and 225. Cy Finnan, I think, is listed at 225. And then I'm going to tell you about another running back they have here in a second. Bryson Whitmer, 6 foot 2. Or sorry, Whitmer's 225. Finnan is a little bit smaller at 215.
A little bit smaller.
A little bit smaller. So Waylon Rentz plus 10, 15 pounds. If you're looking for kind of a comparison there. Cy Finnan, 163 rushes. He's up over 1,000 yards, 1,063 yards. He's got 12 TDs. Bryson Whitmer, 109 carries, 1,073 yards, 17 touchdowns. He's a Louisville baseball commit. As we talked about on Rise and Rewind, he gets it up there at 95. And I believe he's a lefty, too. Caden Clare has stepped in for Luke Blatnick, who was averaging 10.3 yards per carry before his injury earlier in the season. I don't think sounds like Luke will not be back. I'm not totally sure on that, but Caden Clare, 68 rushes, 514 yards, 5 TDs this season. Quarterback Abe Hermes, 118 rushes, 740 yards, 10 touchdowns. He's 72 of 119 passing for 1,204 yards and 11 TDs. His big play receiver, David Went, 35 catches, 557 yards, 5 TDs. Ryder Crame is their leading tackler. He has 102. And then Cyrus Finnan, 84 stops this season for the Chargers. Not picking it. We're calling it. Fortunately, I'm glad we don't have to, because I'd probably just have to flip a coin here. I talked about the triple option. It sounds like they're not running it as much this season after doing a little more research over the weekend with some coaches that have played them. Wing, gun tee, buck sweep, jet sweep type stuff that they're running. A lot of two wide. They'll have a wing to each side, single back there. Quarterback's really good.
Yeah.
Third place, 126-pound weight class Division III wrestling tournament. They have a lot of wrestlers on their team, so they're tough. They're tough beating Perkins.
Yeah, actually, Lynn, as you were going through some of those stats, I pulled up some film because I wanted to look at a couple formations.
Yeah, they'll fake the dive with Hermes, and he'll take it, and boy,
I will tell you this. I think if they're going to sit there in the shotgun, okay, if they're going to sit there in the gun and do some things like that, they better be pretty good up front. They better be really good up front, because when you're running out of the shotgun, things just don't hit as quick. So you've got to be able to sustain your blocks. You've got to be able to hold your blocks. I think that favors Liberty Center. If they snap the ball predominantly in the shotgun. Now, I know Oak Harbor did as well, but they weren't as ground-based as Edison. They want to throw it a lot more. So I knowing that, we talked Saturday on Rise and Rewind about the triple option. That, I thought, would be more problematic for Liberty Center, because
it does sound like they're running it. That's kind of what they have been in the past, but this year they've really went away from that, from what coaches have told me.
Yeah, and not that they can't be dominant on the ground from the gun, but I'm watching a little bit right now, and
they will spread you out a little bit. They usually have a lot of two receiver sets, and just probably to get a defender out of the box.
Yeah, sure. They're going to need to against Liberty Center. And you talking about those backs, Lynn, you just talked about their dimensions, their height and weight. Yeah.
They're not slow. You're thinking 215, 225. Yeah. They're kind of they got some pretty good speed. They'll throw a lot of swing passes to them out of the backfield as well.
Yeah, I look for Liberty Center to be aggressive defensively. I really do, and I don't know what to make of it. I'll be real honest with you, Ken. It's going to come down to this for Liberty Center, especially first down rushing. They had their way rushing the ball on first down against Oak Harbor and kept the chains moving. Can Edison get them in 2nd and 8 or more, 3rd and 7, 8? I don't know. Not many teams can.
When do you have to throw the ball in Liberty Center's offense? What kind of yardage do you have to get on first down to say, if you're Casey Moeller, and say, we're going to stick with the run game? Is it 3 or more? If you get 2, do you have to consider throwing it?
Depends. Some games you do, some games you don't.
Okay.
It's one of those feel things. And sometimes you need to do it on first down. But nobody's better at staying the course than Casey Moeller and Liberty Center. And sometimes if you're 2nd and 9, that may be the best time to run it again. So, yeah, it just depends on the game, depends on the feel. Boy, it's I'm getting like the willies talking about it because, boy, those are the things that make coaching fun. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what to make of this one. I really don't. Edison's going to have to be really good up front if they're going to be able to beat Liberty Center. And I don't. You hate doing this, but you look at Edison's schedule. They've had a lot more games that were close.
People look at the Gibsonburg game. For full disclosure on that one was played in a monsoon.
Okay.
It was, from what I was told, it was impossible to really do anything.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe cut that one out. I know that one was close, and a lot of people said, well, the Gibsonburg game was real close. Well, it was played in some really, really bad weather.
Okay. 21-6 over a 2-8 Bellevue team.
Yeah.
Okay, and anyone who knows Bellevue traditionally is really, really good.
Yeah.
Beat Perkins 15-14. Okay, 15-14, a team that Napoleon put 21 on Friday night and ran the ball at times fairly successfully. Beat Vermilion 17-0. Yeah, I don't know. I again, we're calling it, but maybe Liberty Center in the trenches gives them an edge. Maybe, Edison, they're undefeated. They've beaten everybody that's been put in front of them. So I just think we're blessed to be able to cover it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Pre-game 6:30, kickoff 7 o'clock on Friday night from Lake High School, as Tory and I will have the call of that one. Elsewhere around Division 5 this week, South Range ranked number 2 in Division 5. They are playing Poland Seminary. South Range an 18-point favorite according to Ohio Fantastic 50, and 18. Did I say 18 or did I say 15? 18? 18-point favorite. Okay. Cal Preps, they're a 15-point favorite, 16.5 for the median spread. Gave you the Milan Edison Liberty Center breakdown. Ohio Fantastic 50 likes the Tigers by 9 and Cal Preps by 7. Is what the computer models are telling you there. Ironton ranked number 1 in all of Division 5. This is one of the biggest spreads in all the state this week, playing Wheelersburg, who I believe they beat 37-0 way back in week 1. That game is at South Point. Ironton favored by 31 by Ohio Fantastic 50 and 25 by Cal Preps. Median range of 28. And then Indian Lake is playing West Liberty Salem in the Southwest region at Piqua. Indian Lake -2 according to Ohio Fantastic 50 and -1 according to Cal Preps. State semifinals, I know we're given these before Tuesday's release of the state semifinal pairings. Probably Northwest region, Northeast region.
I think so.
And then Southwest and Southeast.
I think so, Lynn. I really do. I don't see it any other way, but we'll see. You say that gets released Tuesday?
Usually it does. Tuesday of the regional finals week has been kind of the traditional release of that.
Yeah.
And again, they take into account both teams playing in that region, not just one.
Correct.
And I don't know that there's really a requisite of how they base it. It's kind of distance usually.
Yeah, and it is. And there's times where I just know over the years I've looked at it and shook my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And a year ago in Division 5, Liberty Center went south to play Valley View. Yeah. South Range 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They usually kind of split it east and west.
Yeah.
And they try to get teams from different parts of the state.
Yeah.
Usually. It's how it traditionally goes, and then some years it's different. It feels like Division 5 it rotates back and forth each year almost.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
But boy, Division 5 with Liberty Center, Edison, Ironton, South Range. Whew.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that southwest region. Sorry, you might want to tap out. Football's a little bit different in the other three regions. I would say personally.
Yep, I would agree.
Yeah. Let's take a break. We'll come back and talk about Division 6 and Region 22.
Who says a college degree is the only path to a fulfilling career? At the Gerken Companies, we offer rewarding livelihoods with or without a degree. Gerken provides a generous benefits package, continuous training, top-notch equipment, and a culture that rewards effort. We're looking for rock-solid performers to help build and reinforce the region's infrastructure. Whether you have construction experience or are just starting your career, apply now at gerkencompanies.com/careers.
Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football presented by the Gerken Companies. Forgot to give you Neil Schuler's pick for that Division 5 Region 18 matchup. What did he tell us, Tory?
Neil Schuler likes the Liberty Center Tigers, and his exact quote, in a slugfest nail-biter. Slugfest nail-biter.
Yeah, I think slugfest nail-biter is a good way to put it.
I like how
Demolition Derby.
That's my favorite.
I mean,
yeah, it's going to be.
Oh,
it's going to be.
This game will be over maybe before 9.
Yeah. It may be the first game over.
Liberty Oak Harbor game was pretty quick a week ago.
Quick.
That was one of the first ones done. I think there were a lot of games still had the fourth quarter to play when we were getting in our vehicles to leave Maumee.
Yeah, there were, and I think Edison's going to have to throw it a little more than they're accustomed to in that game.
Does Liberty have to throw it a little bit more than they're accustomed to? This defense is pretty good for Milan Edison if you watch them on film.
I'm going to say Liberty's
they're pretty aggressive too.
I'm going to say Liberty's going to have to throw it a little more than they might want to. Not a crazy amount, but
instead of 4, maybe 6 or 8 for both teams.
Yeah, I'm going to say Liberty maybe throws 10 to 12. I don't know if they have any screens, anything like that. Okay. I know they have. Liberty Center has passing concepts. I just a couple years ago, several years ago in the playoffs, just watching some of their passing concepts and stuff, they've got it. They've got it now.
They haven't had to use it much this year.
They just haven't, but they work on it and they have it.
Yeah. At some point, you usually have to.
You almost always have to.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Let's move it up to Division 6, Region 22. Bluffton and Patrick Henry. The Pirates coming at 12-1. Patrick Henry 11-2. This one will be at Findlay's Donnell Stadium, where Patrick Henry played a week ago against Hopewell Loudon. Bluffton has been to 2 regional finals, one a year ago, and their other one came in 1991 when they won the region and also made it to the state championship. Lost to Rob Kelly, a former future Ohio State Buckeye, for John Cooper, played in the secondary for Coach Cooper there as Newark Catholic took down Bluffton in the 1991 state championship. PH, this is their 13th regional final, 7-5 in those regional finals. They went to the state semis in 1977, but that was only when 2 teams from each region got in, so you didn't have really a regional championship. It was right to the state semis.
Yeah. 7-5, you said.
Yep, they're 7-5 in regional finals.
And you just look at Patrick Henry's success, and you would think it'd be better than that. Mm-hmm. And that's outstanding, right. 7-5. But you don't hardly ever remember them losing.
No.
Yeah.
No, you don't. PH in the playoffs. Opponents have had 105 snaps. How many yards do you think their foes have generated on those 105 snaps? Below 300 or above 300?
I'd have to say above 300.
Oh, you would? No, you're not even close. They haven't even got 200 yards. 197 yards.
We're talking combined.
Yeah.
In their 3 games.
Yeah. Have not allowed an offensive touchdown. The touchdown that Hopewell Loudon had a week ago was on a kickoff return. So haven't allowed a touchdown. They've allowed 197 yards on 105 snaps. How about this stat? Time of possession in the postseason for PH. They have had it 60% of the time, 85-47 of the possible 144 minutes.
Hard to score if you don't have the ball.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they have been just dominant so far against Evergreen, Cary, a game that we had a couple weeks ago, and then last week against Hopewell Loudon. PH outscoring their foes 144-20 in the first quarter this season, 177-24 in the second quarter. So a huge, huge advantage in the first half so far this season for Patrick Henry. Lincoln Krieger leading the rushing attack, 1,442 yards, 25 TDs on 161 keepers from his quarterback position. Cal Schrader averaging 7.1 yards per carry as he's taken over the starting role in the backfield as well. 61 carries, 435 yards, 4 TDs. Receiving Lane Jackson, 18 catches, 313 yards, 5 TDs. Trent Johnson, 15 grabs, 263 yards, 5 TDs. And then Kiefer Holloway, 10 catches, 156 yards, 2 TDs. He had that big game against Liberty Center earlier this season. Lincoln Krieger passing 64 of 114. He is 1 yard short of 1,100 for the season, 15 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Opponents this season have struggled against the Patrick Henry defense, rushing 385 attempts, 867 yards for foes. Passing, they are 62 of 159 for 580 yards. Only 2 touchdowns passing against PH this season.
Wow.
They have 12 interceptions. On the offensive side, Patrick Henry, 435 rushes, 3,239 yards, 46 rushing touchdowns, 71 of 130 passing, 1,157 yards this season for PH.
Wow. That's impressive. What I'm curious to see, Lynn, is if Patrick Henry, if Bluffton's going to force them to diversify a little bit, or because we've seen PH numerous times, and they've been able to get by a lot of times with just running like straight quarterback ISOs with one back leading for Lincoln Krieger and just kind of bullying people. Are they going to be able to do that? Now, they have some other things they can do, especially with Cal Schrader in the mix. And you mentioned Kiefer Holloway and Lane Jackson and Trent Johnson from tight end. And you still have Grant Smith to utilize. But something in me says PH is going to have to diversify a little bit because those straight quarterback runs that they've hung their hat on this year aren't going to be as prevalent, aren't going to be as available against Bluffton. I just don't see it.
Got to take the run away from PH first of all.
I think you do. I think you got to pick your poison. You load up that box like a crazy person and then make them beat you somewhere else. And now, PH can. They can beat you other ways. But I think if you try to play them and say, listen, we're going to play our base defense, read our keys, be fundamentally solid, it's not going to be good enough. Your players aren't good enough to do that. You've got to do some things out of the ordinary, and you've got to pick your poison. I think you do. If Bluffton just sits there in their base defense and doesn't stunt up front and doesn't bring different run blitzes, everybody thinks blitzing is just, again, an obvious passing downs. It's not. You can run blitz, and I think you got to roll the dice from time to time because Patrick Henry, they don't try to deceive you a whole lot. A lot of times you'll see a formation and you'll go, geez, they're really heavy here. Are they trying to trick them and do something else off it? No. No. Where you see Grant Smith and some of those guys, no, that's where they're going. But teams haven't been able to stop it.
Grant Smith up to 13 sacks on the defensive side. Then you have Trent Johnson anchoring the other side of that defensive line. He's got 6 sacks, 19 between the two of them.
And that's
Kevian Kreider, 117 tackles. Grant Smith has 108, 25 for loss.
108, and teams are game planning and they're running away from him.
Who is the one guy on that defense you don't want to beat you? Is it Grant Smith?
Yeah.
Or do you think about Kevian Kreider, Trent Johnson, Lincoln Krieger at linebacker?
Kevian's tough because he's able to kind of go sideline to sideline, whereas Grant Smith, if he's lined up at one of the ends, you can kind of get a beat on where he's at and try to scheme away from him. But Kevian Kreider, if he's playing linebacker there, it's hard to stay away from him. But Bluffton's going to stress the Patriot defense a little bit, Lynn, because they're multidimensional, even more so than Liberty Center. They have the Parker Lovell, who's got big numbers. Haven't heard his name as much the last couple weeks, Landon Worcester, but they can also throw it. They're much more balanced, I think, than anyone that Patrick Henry's played. I really believe that. So they're going to be stressed a little bit defensively. Bluffton will spread you out, but they can run Worcester, and he's going to test them. He's a load.
Let's say the Bluffton team we saw a year ago shows up against Patrick Henry, or the team that showed up against Columbus Grove. What's the point differential in those games?
If the Bluffton team we saw last year against Grove shows up, I would give Bluffton a slight advantage.
You think Bluffton would be a favorite against Patrick Henry?
A slight favorite. If the team we saw or some semblance of the team we saw against Grove this year shows up, I like Patrick Henry 28-14.
28-14.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Bluffton's pretty good, Lynn. I think Bluffton's pretty good. I really do.
Did they get their heads? Is it just mental for them?
Yes. I think once Grove hit them a couple times, they said no mas. No mas. They
played them tough twice the year before.
I know. But
makes sense of that for me.
Yeah. You really can't. And it was at home this year.
Yeah.
You know? But I like the Patriots in this football game. I do. They play inspired defensively, night in, night out, every single play. And it starts with their coaches. They are a very, very, very aligned football program right now. So I like the Patriot defense, but I don't think it's going to look anything like the Hopewell Loudon game looked last week. I think Bluffton takes them to the wire. I really do.
Bluffton a little more rugged, physical.
Yep. I think they're a little more rugged, a little more physical, a little more balanced, a little more athletic. Mm-hmm. I think Bluffton's got more athletes from sideline to sideline.
Is this the Bluffton team that showed up a year ago against Grove twice, and the team that's been really good a lot of the weeks this season? Is it a defensive game where it doesn't even get to the 20s?
Could be a defensive game and turnovers.
What score are you thinking if it's both teams bring their A game?
14-13, 21-20.
Okay.
I think it's that close. Now, I've got some skin in the game. Yeah, I got nephews, that play for the Patriots, but I try to be honest, and I tell you, I think Bluffton's a really good football team, and I would be surprised if Patrick Henry rolled them. I really would. I really would.
I think a lot of people that I've talked to in public here, and maybe some Patrick Henry people and some not, but they expect them to roll.
Yes, they do. I think they're thinking 28-7, 35-14.
Like the Carey game?
A lot like the Carey game.
A little closer, though.
Yeah, and it could. I'm telling you, Patrick Henry's clicking right now. They are clicking, and we saw what Bluffton's capable of, in that Grove game. But I expect this to be a super close game. I'll be surprised if the verdict's in at the start of the fourth quarter like it has been the last couple weeks. I'll be shocked.
Okay. Good insight there. I'm going to take PH as well, and Neil Schuler also is taking the Patriots this week. We'll keep close tabs on that one from Lake on Friday night. Also around Division 6, Kirtland ranked number 1. They are playing Dalton, who played Marion Local in the state championship game a year ago. That game is at Orville. I'm sorry, at North Royalton. I was looking at Division 7 there. My apologies. Kirtland, a 21-point favorite by Ohio Fantastic 50, and Kirtland, a 28-point favorite via Cal Prep, so 24.5 overall. How about, what do you make of this? I forgot to give you the computer expectations for the Bluffton PH game. Ohio Fantastic 50 likes Bluffton by 1.
Okay.
And Cal Preps likes the Pirates by 7.
Wow. By 7, huh? Even though I'm a believer, I love those computer models.
They're
really
usually
do.
pretty close.
They're very close.
I think we're in for a razor-thin margin.
I do too. And the one thing you can't measure is, like I said, the cohesiveness between the coaches and those players at Patrick Henry. That counts for more than I think the computers are able to generate. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying Bluffton doesn't have that cohesion. Mm-hmm. We just don't know them quite as well. But,
right.
I guess you asked my response to that, what I make of it. I guess I'm surprised. That they're underdogs based on the computer models, because Patrick Henry was right there with Grove. less those turnovers, they were close, and Bluffton wasn't even in the same
Do
stadium
they factor
with
in,
them.
though, the margin of loss, though?
I think so.
Okay.
I think they have to.
Okay.
Yeah, and if Patrick Henry takes care of the ball that night, that Grove game's a different game.
Yeah, and Grove did lose Landon Best, their starting quarterback, late in the first half. They were scrambling there a little bit, just given full facts.
No, that's absolutely a fact.
Oh, I thought you hauled that in there. You dropped your pen and
I about did.
Had it for a second, then you lost it.
I did, and it's unlike me. I don't know if I've lost a step or what, but in Bluffton, if anyone saw that game or the highlights or listened to our GameCast call of that was never a game.
Yeah.
I mean, that was
from the
never
get-go.
a game from the get-go.
Yeah.
And then you look at, what Bluffton did in some of their other games. I mean, they've bludgeoned teams to death.
Yeah, they have.
So.
Also in Division 6, Grandview Heights, ranked 4 by Martin RPI. They are playing Northmore, who is ranked 5th. That one is at Westerville Central. Northmore, 18-point favorite according to Ohio Fantastic 50, and a 16-point favorite by Cal Preps. Also in Division 6 is a MAC rematch, as Coldwater will play Anna. Coldwater ranked number 2 in D6, Anna ranked number 9. That game will be at Sydney. Coldwater favored by 16 by Ohio Fantastic 50 and by 13 against by Cal Preps. You give me the regular season score of that Coldwater Anna game.
Yep,
I don't think it was super close.
Yep.
Is it Coldwater Anna winner against the PH Bluffton winner in your mind? Probably next week in the state semis, and then Kirtland Dalton in the Grandview Heights Northmore winner on the other side.
100%. Week 4, Coldwater Anna. Coldwater won that one 34-18. 34-18. That game was home. Coldwater hosted Anna.
Okay.
Anna will be there. Anna will be there. If you know that league and those kids, they'll have a chance in that game.
Yeah, we're going to take our final break, come back, and look at our Division 7 matchup between Columbus Grove and Delphos St. John's this week. Ready to hit the links? Grab your clubs and head to White Pines Golf Course at 1640 County Road 2 in Swanton. For a tee time or to sign up for their events, call 419-875-5535 or visit whitepinesgc.com. Also, sign up for their early membership of $885 or $796.50 for seniors 55 and older. Early membership is play now, and greens fees are covered for the rest of 2024 and all of 2025. When you play White Pines Golf Course, the experience will exceed your expectations.
High school seniors, uncertain that college is right for you? Concerned about the cost of higher education? At the Gerken Companies, we offer rewarding livelihoods even without a degree. That's a good living straight out of high school with no tuition debt. Starting pay between recent college grads and those with high school diplomas is closer than you might think. So if you enjoy teamwork, working outdoors, and being part of something meaningful, consider your options at gerkencompanies.com/careers.
Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gerken Companies. I have one more game to talk about from our coverage area this week. Is Division 7, Region 26, as Columbus Grove 13-0. They will play 15-seeded Delphos St. John's, who is 6-7. This game will be at Lima Spartan Stadium on Friday night. Columbus Grove 2-1 all time against the Blue Jays. First matchup came in 1962. Grove 20-0. Played again the next year in 1963. Grove won that one 12-6. And then the most recent meeting was in 2000. Delphos St. John's 41, Columbus Grove 13. That was at Lima Stadium in a regional semifinal matchup there. This is the 8th regional final for Columbus Grove in their program's history. Guess what their record is in those 7 regional championships?
6-1.
7-0.
Oh.
Never lost a regional final game has Columbus Grove. 21-14 over Macomb in 2001. That was at Lima Stadium. Next year, they knocked off Tiffin Calvert in the regional final. That one at Lima Bath Stadium. 2003, 21-6 on their way to a state championship over 21-6 over Corey Ross, and that was also at Lima Bath Stadium. Then they got back to the regional finals in 2014, 19-7 over Arlington at Donnell Stadium. 2020, Grove 42, Fairview 21. That was at Defiance's Fred J. Brown Stadium. 2 years ago, 34-0 over Columbia at Clyde Robert Bishop Stadium. And then a year ago, they beat Bluffton 17-10 at Findlay's Donnell Stadium. This is St. John's 16th regional final and first since 2017. Delphos St. John's finally got healthy week 11. Rob Gagne has been great. He supplied me some great info on Delphos St. John's. Alex Heron at transfer and the 8 seniors, they haven't been available for a game since week 3 of their sophomore year because of Alex Heron's transfer and then some injuries and whatnot. Alex Heron, in 5 games this year, he has 11 sacks. Pretty good.
Wow, that's
Grant
pretty good.
Smith
Grant Smith numbers.
Yeah. Connor Gagne finally starting to look like he did pre-ACL meniscus injury time, so they're getting him back healthy. And then TJ Wirtz, pretty good runner for them. He's got some speed also back. A different maybe Delphos St. John's team than what they've had throughout the season, but Columbus Grove, they have rolled. They are actually 2-5 all-time in playoff games at Lima Spartan Stadium are the Bulldogs. Grove's average starting field position is their own 45 this year. All these stats courtesy of the great Ned Steckschulte. Boy, he runs through the numbers and generates some unique stuff. Opponent's average starting field position is the 29. Their own 29, I should say. Columbus Grove's offense has been in the red zone 51 times. They've scored 46 of those for a 90% success rate. Grove's opponents have been in the red zone just 15 times. They've scored on 12 of the 15 times into the red zone. Grove has 208 first downs, opponents 149. Total yards, Grove 4,484, opponents 2,716. Grove has ran 113 less plays, 551 to 664 for their opponents. They have 3,106 rushing yards. Opponents have 1,379. 30 rushing attempts per game, and they average 3.5 yards per carry to opponents on Columbus Grove. Grove is averaging 7.52 per rush this season. Passing yards, Grove has 1,378. Opponents, 1,337. Grove has completed 91 of 138 passes. Opponents have went to the air 274 times. So they faced a lot of teams that like to throw it. Completed 155 of those this season. Total turnovers, Grove, 16. It's quite a few, but guess how many they forced? 29, so they're plus 13 in the plus-minus department. So they've done really well, even though they've turned it over, a little over once per game so far this season, but have been really good. Third down conversions, Grove is 44 of 82. Opponents just 54 of 153. I think everybody in the world now knows that Trenton Barraza has broken Blaine Magg's career rushing mark at Columbus Grove. Boy, that was a number that, when you looked at Blaine Magg and what he did in his 4-year career, led them to the 2003 state championship, that I don't think anybody would have been crazy enough to say that Barraza was going to beat that.
Ned Steckschulte said that he didn't think he would see it in his lifetime.
No, and if Ned says it,
he's seen he's seen some things.
Yeah, Trenton Barraza, 2,423 yards rushing, 35 touchdowns on 262 attempts. That's 9.2 per carry. How about Grant Eversole? He's averaging 13 yards per carry. They've only given it to him 14 times, though.
Yeah, I saw that when
182 yards, 3 TDs. So you know that offensive line's pretty good.
Yep.
As everybody in their backfield is having a nice year. Receiving, Trevin Baxter leads the way there. 37 catches, 577 yards. He's got 10 touchdowns. Gavin Baxter, 13 catches, 227 yards. Brady Basinger, 15 catches, 230 yards this season. Kyle Hopkins has taken over at quarterback, 49 of 73, 775 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions for Kyle Hopkins. 67.1% completion rate. Pretty darn good.
Yeah, and give Hopkins a ton of credit and give the Grove coaching staff and team credit, because when Landon Best went down early in the season against Patrick Henry, they were forced to, pick up the pieces and try to make the puzzle fit differently. And they've done that. Lynn, you talk about Barraza's rushing totals with his number of carries. It's not like, the basketball coaches that leave their star in there so they get their points even when they're up 30.
Yeah.
Columbus Grove, they are the most balanced, unselfish team there is. And this isn't a kid that when they're up 40 in the second half, he's carrying the ball 25 times. I mean, his numbers are more impressive because of how selfless they are as a team, and it just makes it even more unbelievable to me.
Yeah, 4 guys now with over 100 tackles on the season. Levi Schrader, 119. Landon Houston, 116. Jamison Rader, 107. Kylan Mays, 101. And Leighton Blankenmeyer, he's probably going to get there too. He's got 89.
Okay,
Grant Eversole has 78, so he may get it as well if the Grove Bulldogs keep rolling. Kylan Mays, 13 tackles for loss. He's got 9 sacks. And then Blankenmeyer has 6. Luke Groach, also 6. They have a ton of sacks as a team. Mays and Blankmeyer both 17 hurries apiece this season from up in the trenches. Gavin Barraza, 6 picks. Trevin Baxter, 4. Grant Eversole has 3. Levi Schrader, 2. Oh.
Yeah, Leighton Blankmeyer is my kind of my X factor on that defensive line for Columbus Grove. I mean, Kylan Mays is the immovable force. We know that. And their linebackers are good, and everybody you mentioned, but Leighton Blankmeyer is the guy that, to me, that just kind of flies under the radar a little bit, and I'm not surprised he's nearing 100 tackles.
They're a handful.
Yeah. They're safeties. You talked about Grant Eversole. He's 70-some tackles. Mm-hmm. He's a safety. Mm-hmm. And
he doesn't have many opportunities with that group in front of him.
No, he doesn't. Save some for me, he's thinking at times. But
can we get Trenton Braz on the Mr. Ohio list?
I tell you,
should he be?
He should be. He should be. It rarely happens. It rarely happens for Mr. Football. The
Blaine Mag was.
Yeah,
I think he finished pretty high up too.
I believe
back
that.
in his day.
I believe that. I think he maybe was top 3 or 5.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think he was top 3. He was second or third, I believe, for Mr. Football.
Yeah, and we know some of the talent out there. I mean, there's so many talented football players, but to do what Trenton Barraza's done, he deserves to have the honor of being on the list, being on the watch list for sure.
You need the odds for this matchup to make your choice. Biggest in the state this week. Ohio Fantastic 50 has Columbus Grove as a 34-point favorite, and Cal Preps 35. Well, they think running clock.
In the regional final.
Only, Ironton, according to Ohio Fantastic 50, has a 31-point spread, but it's the only other game that either Fantastic 50 or Cal Preps thinks will have a running clock.
Yeah, Columbus Grove, they've been a single purpose the whole season, and they've had their sights set on you know who, and just so happens. Do you see a scenario, Lynn, where Grove sleepwalks a little bit into this, and St. John's, maybe the team that played Lima Central Catholic to a 14-13 game? Is there any chance St. John's can hang in there for a half?
They're battle-tested.
They are battle-tested.
Sounds like they're healthy for the first time. I mean, think things go really well for them, yeah. I don't know that they've seen a Trenton Brazzi. You go through a max schedule, you're like, oh, yeah, we've seen everything. I don't know that they've seen a Trenton Brazzi, something similar. There's MAC guys, Marion Local's got a few of them that are kind of on that level.
Yeah, they do.
I don't think they'll be in a deer in the headlights if you're looking at a 15-1 matchup in most games like this. I think they'll go into it pretty confident, playing the schedule that they have.
Yeah, as they should, right?
I mean, I don't think they're going to beat Columbus Grove, but is there maybe a scenario where this one's tight into the second half? Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible. I would agree.
What did Marion Local do to Delphos St. John's? Was it 71-0?
71-0, and then Coldwater beat St. John's 52-7. Yeah, that's another thing I look at, Lynn. How would Columbus Grove and Lipsick have matched up? I know they
give
didn't
Columbus
play
Grove
this
a
year.
pretty heavy favorite.
Pretty
in that
sizable.
One. Yeah,
Okay.
20 plus.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'm just looking for some commonalities there, maybe. But yeah, I like Columbus Grove to roll in this game. But St. John's, like you said, they're battle tested.
I don't think they're just going to roll over.
I don't either. I don't think they're not built that way down there.
They have some tough kids.
Yeah.
Coach Scholde will have them ready to play and see what happens. Neil Schuler likes Columbus Grove as well in that matchup. Elsewhere around the Division 7 regional final slate, Cuyahoga Heights ranked 32nd in Ohio by Braden Martin. They are playing Hillsdale, who is ranked 8th. That game is at Orrville. If you're a fan and you're looking for games to go to around the state, you may want to avoid Division 7 because the spreads are pretty big. Hillsdale is a 17-point favorite against Cuyahoga Heights, according to Ohio Fantastic 50, and Cal Preps likes Hillsdale by just 7, though. Median spread of 12. Columbus Grove, 34-point favorite by Ohio Fantastic 50, 35 by Cal Preps. Danville and Beaver Eastern, that game is at Logan. Danville ranked 7th in Division 7, Beaver Eastern 15. Ohio Fantastic 50 likes Danville by 26, and Cal Preps likes Danville by 21, 23.5 median spread there. And then the rematch between Marion Local and Minster, which was 21-0 earlier this season. This game is at Wapak. Ohio Fantastic 50 likes Marion Local by 26, and Cal Preps likes Tim Goodwin's crew by 18, 22 average spread there. Only division where every game is double digits by the spread, the median spread.
Boy, if Columbus Grove and Marion Local are the two best teams, Minster's sitting there saying, "Hey."
Yeah, I think Minster's in the discussion.
Good, Minster's.
I think you have to. I think Marion Local is here.
Yeah.
Minster, Columbus Grove, few notches down.
Yeah.
We've talked privately. What can you expect to score against this Marion Local defense? I mean, like we said in the pre-show, 14.
Yeah.
But are they going to score 14? No. I don't know.
I think you can expect to score 14, and I think you would hope to maybe hold them under 28 or less. I think would be reasonable. And I would love to see, Lynn, the winner of Marion Local. Love to see the winner of Marion Local and Minster meet the winner of Grove St. John's in a state final. I'd love to see it, but it's not going to happen.
You think that's a state semifinal game?
I'm afraid it is.
Why do you think that?
I don't even think they'll look beyond that. I think it's already almost foregone.
Those Cuyahoga Heights, Hillsdale, and then Danville, Beaver Eastern, those teams are all pretty close together. And then you look at Marion Local, who everybody outside of Minster expects to win, and then Columbus Grove, everybody expects them to win. You get a Marion Local, Columbus Grove state semifinal at Lima, Wapak.
Yep.
Next Friday, if you're looking at it from a revenue perspective from the OHSAA, I know the state final tickets are more, but do you get more folks coming to a state semifinal because it's a Friday night as opposed to the Division 7 state final, which is at 10:30 on a Friday morning? Now, you're going to get the people that go to all the state games, but does that make up for what both those communities are going to bring? Because there's going to be people that can't get off work in both those communities.
Yeah, you don't have as many people that just go to all the state games like you used to. You still have some, but it used to be a lot more.
Yeah,
I remember
all the coaches used to go. I don't think half of them go anymore.
I don't think I missed one for 18, 19, 20 years.
But it's different now.
It's a lot different now. Some of them stay home and watch it on TV.
You can watch. Yeah. Got to pay the price, but
got to pay the price. But so it's different. I think a state semifinal. Say you had Marion Local and Grove in a state semifinal. A lot of revenue rolling in that night.
To me personally, I would rather see it on a Friday night as opposed to a 10:30 Friday morning.
Man, me
It's
too.
just a goofy.
Yeah, it is.
It's a goofy time for the kids.
Keep
the routine. Play Marion Local Columbus Grove on a Friday night at one of those two great venues, either Walpock, Lima Senior.
Agreed.
To me, I don't know. 10:30 Friday morning. It's not going to have the same build up and atmosphere.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Now I think Columbus Grove people are saying, well, we want another week before we. Well, you're going to have to play them at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
I don't know.
Yeah, you are.
But to me, Friday night, nice autumn night in November.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That's to me 10:30 on a Friday morning. People are going to be sleepy and just not.
Yeah, it's got preseason scrimmage feel to it.
Yeah, just think the environment. Can you imagine? That in 2 weeks, Marion Local and Columbus Grove on a Friday night.
No. Think there'd be some hitting in that game?
I don't know. Just my 2 cents.
No, I agree with you.
I'd like to see it in the state semis if it's me.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens this week, Coach. I think we have one of the better ones in all the state, Liberty Center in Milan, Edison. That's going to be an absolute head knocker.
Think it'll be as good as Liberty Center Oak Harbor was?
I think it has all the makings.
I do too.
Don't you?
I do too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it and diving into Milan Edison a little bit more this week.
Yeah, I got some film pulled up here. I'm gonna dig into it. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach Strock, for joining me again. Thank you to all of our sponsors and especially the Gerken companies for being the title sponsor of our podcast. Hope to be back next week. Guess there's a chance our teams could get knocked out.
I mean, it's always a chance, but I feel
pretty good.
I do too.
Yeah, we'll be back next Monday night with our podcast. Rise and Rewind will be back again Saturday morning this week, at least one more Saturday.
Yep.
8 a.m.
Let's do 8 a.m.
We will get rolling with Rise and Rewind presented by White Pines Golf Course. Have a great week, everybody. We will talk to you again on Friday night from Lake.